like I should feel like I should feel like I should feel like I should go. Go. Feel like I should go. Feel like I should feel like I should feel like I should feel like I should go.
In the previous episode, we saw Suho face a terrifying monster linked to the monarch of the Iron Body. As tension rose, chains suddenly dragged the beast, Amit, back to his tomb. But things took a turn. Suho received a quest, not to defeat Amit, but to free him. As Suho learned Amit was a victim, chained and betrayed by Tarnak and a spellcaster, he made a risky plan: destroy the dungeon to break the magic chains. In a brutal battle against the tomb's warden, Suho and Essel used their bond skill to deliver a final blow, collapsing the dungeon. Chains broke. But as Amit tried to escape, the stakes returned to kill him. Bloodied and broken, Suho risked his life to protect him, kicking the stakes into a shadow gate. Together, they redirected every attack. And finally, the quest was complete. Suho had freed the heir of the Iron Body. But far away, a new threat begins to move. In the next scene, we see Ryo and other members of the Asura Guild inside one of the vehicles outside the tomb. Suho called the sleeping Ryo in the passenger seat and woke him up. He explained that the dungeon had been cleared and then asked if he could borrow his phone. While the events were still somewhat blurry to Ryo, before long he shouted because he couldn't believe that the dungeon had been cleared. After that, they went home and recovered. At the airport, before Suho left, Ryo told him that he wouldn't forget how he saved them in the pyramid field. He added that they should keep in contact even after he returned to Korea, to which he agreed, and also thanked him for helping him get a flight back to his country, as well as for helping him contact his uncle. Suho said in his mind that uncle said he reported it to an acquaintance of his at the Hunter Association, so he might need to visit the Hunter Association soon. Ryo suddenly commented that what happened in the dungeon was strange. He wondered why a demon monster that seemed to be S rank or above would suddenly retreat and let the dungeon collapse. Suho nervously agreed that it was strange. He just said that he was really lucky there, while thinking that he couldn't tell him what really happened with Amit. Next, we went back to a point in time in the Shadow Dungeon before Suho and the others left. Suho said here that, in the end, Amit's chains couldn't be removed, and he couldn't leave the Shadow Dungeon. Because of that, he added that since he didn't release his seal, wouldn't he hold him to his promise? Amit replied that he shouldn't worry too much, because the original promise was for Suho to remove him from the tomb. Perhaps it was because the stakes were scattered around the place, but he had more freedom of movement here compared to the tomb, so this was much more comfortable than that tiny place. While listening, Suho commented in his mind that Amit's vibe had changed greatly here. Suddenly, Amit grabbed him by his hoodie and jumped to the rooftop of a building, which startled Essel. By the way, guys, have you ever noticed something? Every time something happens to Suho, young Monarch, Essel and Beru are the first ones to shout like dramatic parents. Why is it always them? I swear at this point, they're more emotionally invested than the audience. Let me know in the comments if you've noticed this too. Now let's get back to it. When they reached the rooftop, he added that although faint, he could feel the great nature that he had greatly missed in this place. So as a promise, he said he would follow him, which made Suho smile. After that, we returned to the present, where while Suho was saying goodbye to Ryo and the others, he was saying in his mind that a gate opened in the Shadow Dungeon and an urgent quest appeared. So he thought all of that was for him to meet Amit as his teammate. In Ryo's mind, he was amazed at Suho's abilities to summon monsters, fight, and even transform. But despite all of that, he was only an AB rank hunter. Because of that, he thought he needed to contact his guild to scout him. While boarding the airplane, Beru commented that it had been quite a while since he rode something like this. So Suho said it couldn't be helped since the gate connecting to Korea had closed. He also said here that he managed to level up 7 times thanks to defeating the boss monster and completing the urgent quest. So now he was level 35. After that, he asked Beru in his current state what hunter rank did he think he was. So Beru said he thought he was now at A rank. Because of that, he commented that his preparations seemed mostly done. It was time to launch their counterattack against Minsung and the Ataram Apostle. In the next scene in the evening, we went to a city where the building of the Chivalry Guild was located. A member here said that their guild had really grown. They used to be just a C-rank hunter guild, but now they had acquired the rights to an AB rank gate in Incheon. Another member agreed and added that they also had a larger office. The first member said that all of that was thanks to Stardust. Thanks to it, they were able to go to the AB rank gate, even though they were all just C-rank hunters. Another member commented that buying it in the black market had become easier and cheaper. He said he didn't know who made it, but he was greatly thankful for it. Another member asked if it was really that good, because he felt there was something off about it. We were then introduced to this member who was reluctant to use Stardust. Kim Sunung-soo, a B-rank hunter. One member got angry at him because he was a B-rank hunter to begin with, so he wouldn't understand what they were feeling. Sun Tzu told them that he heard the Hunter Association was considering passing a law prohibiting the use of that stardust. One member was surprised by this and asked, would they really do that, even though it had no side effects? Wouldn't it be better if hunters could use it to close more gates? Another one said it was extremely frustrating, since they weren't doing anything for low-rank guilds like them. Sun Tzu replied that he couldn't do anything about it, even if they complained to him. Someone arrived at their office, so they turned toward the door with puzzled faces. When they looked, they saw the Outer Worlder with his two subordinates. The Outer Worlder told his companions that this was the Chivalry Guild. He also asked the members there if they were the guild that had rights to the gate that appeared in Inshan. Sun Tzu was perplexed by his appearance as a boy and asked what this child came to them for. The Outer Worlder said they should give him the gate, which puzzled him again. He suddenly controlled his guild companions and seriously repeated for them to give him the gate. One of those he controlled called him Apostle and said they would follow his orders. Sun Tzu was shocked and worriedly asked what kind of joke they were playing there. He asked why they suddenly stood up and bowed to this child. The Outer Worlder commented that it seemed there were hunters there who did not consume stardust, and said this situation was perfect. He pointed out to those present that from now on, none of them were allowed to use their sight or hearing. Those he controlled closed their eyes and covered their ears. Sun Tzu was extremely worried and asked, why were they following the orders of that child? The Outer Worlder said he wanted to talk to other humans besides the Apostle he was referring to, who might be Manong. He explained that their creator wished to possess the rights to a world without a master, so he was here on Earth to fulfill those wishes. Fearfully, Sunung Su asked what he was talking about, while holding his katana. The boy added that after coming here he had several questions. He pointed out that creations are beings made to fulfill the wishes of their creator, but humans had acquired other purposes and acted based on their own will. So he asked, what wishes of their creator were they fulfilling there? Sun Tzu drew his katana and shouted, asking what this creator he was referring to was, and told him to revert his companions back to normal. He also asked if this was some kind of cult religion, and pointed out that while the Outer Worlder might indeed be a child, he wouldn't let him do as he pleased if he continued to prank them. The Outer Worlder unsheathed the sword of one of his companions and seriously questioned Sun Tzu's inquiry about whether they were a cult, which sent chills throughout his body. He began to emit an extraordinary aura while angrily asking if he had blasphemed against his creator. He used Amplify on the sword he was holding. Sun Tzu tried to charge forward due to nervousness and fear. However, using just one swing of the amplified blade, the Outer Worlder managed to vertically slice this B-rank hunter. The strength of his swing also caused a cut in the wall behind his companions. Sun Tzu's dropped sword hit the head of one guild member. After that, the Outer Worlder seriously stared at Sun Tzu's lifeless body. He also let go of the sword he was holding. Next, he told those he controlled that he was allowing them to see and hear again, and he ordered them to clean that place. As they left the office, they were greeted by worried guild members because of the noise they had made. They even asked if there was another hunter who had destroyed that place. The Outer Worlder immediately controlled these two men and ordered them to forget what they had seen there. While walking, he pondered what free will was. All creations, he thought, were made solely to execute the wishes of their creator. However, the creations of this universe killed their own creator by their own will. Next, he entered the gate in Inshan with his army of controlled humans. And here, they pinned down the boss monster there. That looked like a bull. The Outer Worlder commented here that it was more accurate to call this creature a dimensional refugee, roaming in the dimensional crack. He spoke to the beast and said, it must be painful to live wandering around after losing its home. So he took out a yellow crystal and said he would give it a chance to release its anger. He inserted the crystal into the forehead of this beast, which caused bright yellow light to emanate from its body, while he ordered it to go out and run as rampant as it wants. While that was happening, the Outer Worlder also said that he needed to investigate this world further. He said he would do that, all for the sake of fulfilling the wish of their creator. In the next scene, we went to the airport in Korea. Here, the Hunter Association had set up a barricade because a red gate appeared in the area. One of them commented that this looked dangerous based on the magic power coming from that gate. If they didn't subjugate the boss monster quickly, he thought a dungeon break was imminent. If that happened, he worried that it would cause immense damage to the airport. It turns out these were people controlled by the Outer Worlder, as shown by their glowing yellow retinas. The Outer Worlder arrived there, and one of the controlled individuals told him that they would just report to the Hunter Association that there was no problem here, and he called him Apostle. Since controlled humans frequently called him Apostle, let's change what we call the Outer Worlder to that, the Apostle. The Apostle just stared at the red gate, Before long, several monsters emerged from it because a dungeon break had occurred. Next, the apostle explained to us what creations are. They are beings made to fulfill the wishes of their creator. If their creator was bored, they would fight each other. If their creator wanted something, they would do anything to offer it to him. That was the reason for the existence of creations like them. But one day their creator, God, said that one of his kind in another dimension had died. He gave them a holy chalice and told them to bring the rights to the world that lost its master. They followed the words of their God and gathered many believers in their world. After that, their army departed for the world that lost its master. However, energy beyond their imagination was required to transport countless soldiers. The dimensional passageway was also too narrow to hold such a large amount of energy. Therefore, the crossing of the army of God through the dimensional passageway took a long time. Their army did not give up and eventually arrived at the world that lost its master. In that place, they saw the darkness, a pitch-black darkness of unfathomable depth. During these times, Jin-Woo was the one who met them. He immediately used his shadow extraction to envelop the enormous gate from which the creations were emerging. Because of this, they were transported to a dark place that resembled outer space, which puzzled them. Afterward, Jin-Woo sent his shadow army charging against those who wished to conquer their peaceful world. The creation commented that the darkness and its army all possessed tremendous strength. He added that the darkness was fearsome in many ways. If the soldiers of God that fought the darkness died, the darkness would envelop them and turn them into enemies. As the war went on, he continued. More soldiers died, and the power of darkness simply grew beyond their imagination. They were driven back by their momentum, and the war that started in the world that lost its master went beyond the confines of the dimension. The army of God fell into despair as it was unable to get past the darkness for a long time. Next, he said that the envoy of God, Teal, then said that this was an opportunity. He pointed out that just like how it took a long time for them to get out, those who had gotten out of the darkness within the world that lost its master wouldn't be able to go back in easily due to the tremendous amount of magic power they possessed. He added that he didn't feel any magic power from the inhabitants of the world that lost its master. So he said that if they made use of Mistborns, they should be able to fell their world from within. Afterward, it was explained to us that the Mistborn are the lowest rank of believers, who were destroyed and burned by the fire of faith, but still carry the will of God. He said that while they're weak, their explosive faith propagation ability is fatal to those who don't have much magic power. He also said that the army of God thought that when faith is propagated in the world that lost its master and the number of believers increases, they can manifest sanctuaries and miracles. Thus, all of them agreed with Teal's strategy unanimously. After that, Teal used his ability to split his strength and abilities into 5 fragments. He had the weakest fragment carry the flame of the Mistborn to the world that lost its master. Just as planned, the weakest fragment wasn't detected by the darkness and was able to successfully enter the world. However, he said, Teal's first fragment that arrived there encountered unexpected variables. When it saw the hunters there, it only then learned that the beings who should have no magic power in this world now had magic power. After that, he said it discovered that magic power emerged in this world along with the great cataclysm. The first fragment thus decided to wait for the other fragments, and it successfully fused with the second fragment. At present, he added that to think they were able to experience such a good change during their war with them made him think that someone must have planned this. He also pointed out that there should absolutely be no other setbacks to their plan. After that, he thought that among humans, it was important for him to understand the peak potential of entities known as hunters, who possess magic power, in order to fulfill his calling as a fragment of Teal. After the explanation, we returned to the airport, and here the monsters that came out of the Red Gate began to wreak havoc, causing people to panic. A red orc and several goblins arrived there. A man immediately shouted that there was a dungeon break and they should contact the Hunter Association. While this chaos was happening, the Apostle was thinking that if monsters with a lot of magic power rampaged there, high-ranking hunters would also come. If possible, he said he wanted to see how strong an S-rank hunter was. There were several hunters in this area, so they immediately rushed there, while worriedly asking why a dungeon break happened here. Because wasn't there already an assigned guild to the gates in their vicinity? The Apostle noticed that the man was referring to the hunters at the gate, and he pointed out that they were using stardust. He then explained that stardust is the stimulant created by melting the faith of Mistborns. He added that while the faint trace of faith that accumulates within their body usually doesn't have much effect, if they use Teal's amplify ability to amplify their faith, it would be enough to affect those who consume stardust. He used his control ability on the 2 hunters who tried to rush toward the monsters, where it immediately took effect. They stopped, and he immediately ordered them that they were being disruptive there, so they should go back, and they promptly obeyed him. A goblin jumped on a female civilian here and stabbed her in the back, causing her to collapse right in front of the apostle. She weakly asked him for help, but he just stared at her, cold-heartedly. While watching the woman die, the apostle explained that creations exist for the creator God. Therefore, he thought that the reason for life was simply to fulfill his wishes. However, he wondered why humans, or those creations, have desires, which only the creator should have. This made him think, if the humans see themselves as superior to them. Meanwhile, as a male civilian was running, he encountered someone calmly standing in the way. This man commented that he couldn't believe a dungeon break was happening as soon as he returned to Korea. There was another man who tripped here, so the red orc immediately tried to hit him with its weapon. Fortunately, another man arrived on the scene, who turned out to be Suho, and he solidly kneed the monster. He told the people there that he would hold off the monsters, so they should run. He caught the attention of the apostle, while he continued to take down several goblins, using his combat skills and ruler's authority. The apostle saw his face with a black mask, so he remembered what Minsung said about the hunter who destroyed the hyena guild, being a hunter wearing a black mask. And here, he thought that man might be the disruptor that Minong mentioned.
Feel like I should, feel like I should, feel like I should, feel like I should go. Go. Feel like I should go. Feel like I should, feel like I should, feel like I should, feel like I should go.